It's Sunday morning. Let me stop. Look, I've been thinking about them diamonds, but I don't need. Can't speak my mind. I tell myself that 'cause they gon' leave.
Alrighty, this is Shawn Blount, your host with Major Leaders podcast, where I have in-depth conversations with industry professionals in their respective fields. Today's special guest is going to be Gerald Irving. He is the owner of Beyond Bricks Home Inspections, does residential as well as commercial properties, and able to assist you in all of your inspection needs. This is an individual I work with through thick and through, honestly, for the past few years, and someone who I've gone to trust and helping my clients as well as myself for things I'm interested in. And I'm excited to have him on the platform today. So I want to introduce Mr. Gerald Irvin. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Definitely appreciate you having me on today. Appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate the kind words as well.
Absolutely. So this is going to be a great conversation, and the topic is really getting behind the walls in the home inspection process. I mean, it's an extremely important phase that everyone should go through, and I just thought that this would be a great conversation for all of the listeners here. But I wanted to kind
Yes,
of
sir.
get into the beginning of it and your introductory into the field itself. So, how did you get started into the industry?
Um, I've always been somebody that was sort of like a dabbler as far as home repairs and other things. And a few years ago, I was just looking for a career change. I was sort of getting burnt out with my previous career, my previous company, which was my trucking company. And I was just looking for a fresh start. So I thought that home inspection would be something that would be perfect for me. And to tell you the truth, it's been an enjoyable ride. I absolutely love my job.
That's good. How long you been in the business?
I've been in business on my own for about 5 years now. Before that, I was actually working with a guy up in Richmond. And then about 5 years ago, I decided to take the leap of faith and jump out there on my own.
That's amazing. That is really good. And thank you for sharing that information because I'm sure there's people out there and some that you even assisted. I've been on certain inspections and you had people come along with you and people who are interested in the field. What are some advice that you would give those who are interested in getting into the field?
Uh, the biggest advice I can give you is just patience. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to actually put in the work. You have to be patient with the process. In Virginia, it's a lot that you have to do to actually become a home inspector. The biggest obstacle that a lot of people face is the 25 ride-alongs. It's hard to get somebody to train you. And like I say, it takes a lot of patience. Some days it may seem like, hey, I'm never going to get this done. And some days things just happen. So the biggest thing, like I say, is just to be patient with your course. And you have to actually be the type of person that wants to help other people because that's what this job is. It's customer service. It's informing people of probably their biggest purchase that they're ever going to make in their life. And so those are the key points to starting this career.
Hmm, that is good. Okay. I want to get into so people can understand the actual home inspection process. For those who aren't familiar with the process, can you walk us through what the typical home inspection entails?
Well, home inspection, um, it entails pretty much every component that's in the home, from your roof covering to your exterior siding, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, foundation, even landscaping. I follow a very strict routine so that I do not miss anything, any component in the home. I start on the exterior with the roof covering, the exterior siding, any exterior plumbing, any exterior electrical. I check your landscaping, but only how it affects the structure or the foundation. Once I work my way into the interior, I'm opening and closing doors and windows. I'm checking switches and receptacles. I'm flushing toilets. I'm running sinks and showers. I'm checking everything in that home. I'm turning on your air conditioning or your furnace for heating and cooling. Going into your attic to check to see if we have any moisture damage, if we have any installation issues. So a home inspection really covers every component in the home. Um, by the time I finish inspecting your home, you're going to be more educated, more informed about the condition of the property.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. Um, how long does a home inspection typically take? Now, that's I guess that answer can vary based on the property, but is there a specific average time frame that you usually like to give for one home inspection?
Um, Usually, I would tell you to expect to spend between an hour and a half to 2 hours at the home inspection. It's going to greatly depend on the amount of issues, the condition of the home, the size of the home as well. But usually, I would say between an hour and a half to 2 hours will be your usual time of the home inspection. Smaller homes, we may be able to do a little quicker, but at the same time, smaller homes with a lot of issues may be, that may work out to be 2.5 hours. So, depending on the condition of the home and the issues that we may find, that time will greatly vary. But like I say, you want to plan on at least an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay. What are the most common misconceptions about the home inspection process?
The most common misconceptions.
Yes. Or like whether
Uh,
it be with somebody going to schedule an inspection or feeling as if they need one, or what are some things that people say to you that often is like, that you typically come across?
well, I think the most common misconception is that it's a pass or fail inspection.
Mm,
It's not a pass or fail inspection. It's just to educate you on the condition of the property. Um, some people think that, hey, did the home inspection pass? No, it's not a pass or fail. Like I say, it's just something to help educate you, help inform you about the condition of your property, so that you can move along in the home buying process and make an informed decision about whether you want to proceed or not with the home. So that's probably the biggest misconception about it. As far as scheduling and those type of things, then all of that stuff is especially with my system, it's fairly easy to schedule and book your inspection. But like I say, the most common misconception is pass or fail.
mm, okay. Okay. Now I want to get your perspective on a few things in reference to the home inspection process. When you're going into a home or looking at a commercial building or as a home inspector, what are some red flags that you look for that could indicate serious issues in a building or a home?
Um, some of the main things that I look for as far as the major components, foundation is a big red flag. As I'm walking around the property, I'm looking for different things, cracks in the foundation, cracks in the bricks. Once I get inside, if I start to see step cracks over the doors and windows, doors that do not close, windows that do not close properly, then I start thinking about foundational issues. Uh, um, Foundation, moisture, those type of things are the biggest red flags, because not only is that area affected, but other areas may be affected as well. If you have a moisture stain on your ceiling, then of course that stain is coming from somewhere else. So now we have to find where the original issue is. So moisture and foundation issues are the biggest red flags, and they all have telltale signs about, hey, this is going on. Now let's move out to find out why this is going on.
Mm, that's good. That's really good. Now, I want to ask you this next question because I know it, but I think it'll be a great question for all of the listeners. What role do you play as the home inspector, and how much involvement do you have in the real estate transaction, working with the agent or the buyer, the seller? What kind of how much involvement do you have in that process, if any?
Um, well, my role in the whole home buying process is to educate you, to inform you about your property. Um, for all the buyers out there, even the sellers, even though your agent may be the one to reach out and hire me, at the end of the day, I work for you and only you. My role is to be your eyes, to be your eyes at the property, to ensure that you understand what's going on with the property, that you understand that all the conditions of the home or the property are up to your satisfaction. So that's basically my role, is just to act as your, I guess, I don't know if intermediate is that the right word? uh, but I'm a consultant for you, more or less, for the buyer or the seller or whoever is purchasing the property. I'm more of a consultant for you, so that's pretty much my role.
Awesome there. And how do you ensure findings are clear or easy for the buyer to understand when you're going through the
Well,
inspection report?
okay. Well, the biggest thing that I can say to help the buyer understand the report is for them to actually physically be at the inspection. I know life happens and sometimes you can't make it, but if you're physically able to be at the inspection, I highly recommend that you do attend the inspection. That way, whatever questions you have, I can get you answers for it right then and there. Um, at the end of every one of my inspections, I do a review with the buyer, with the client. We sit down, I pull out my laptop, and we go over the report step by step right there at the property before we leave.
Mhm.
So that helps the buyer understand the condition of the house, what issues are going on, gives them the opportunity to ask whatever questions that they need to ask or they want to ask. And by the time that we do leave that property, they have a better understanding of the issues and the defects that were located, that were found, so that when they do receive the report, that they have a better understanding about it. And also, once I do an inspection for someone, they have access to me by phone, text, or whatever until they're satisfied with the property, until all their questions have been answered. So it's not a 1 day process. It's not a 2 day process. It's an ongoing process that they always have access to me if they have any questions.
And that is true. I mean, it's been a few situations where I'll try to send you a message or call you and ask you, hey, do you remember this property? And then kind of go back in the memory bank and figure out what it was and able to assist on certain things in reference to the property. So definitely can attest to
Yes,
that.
sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
All righty. So I want to touch on just keeping on the importance of the home inspection. In your opinion, what can be the financial or personal consequences of skipping a home inspection?
Well, let me say this. No matter what anybody tells you, please do not skip the home inspection. Things that we uncovered during the home inspection can have lasting and serious ramifications as far as uh, the safety of the home, the condition of the home. Um, a roof, for instance, could cost you anywhere from ten to $20,000. HVAC could cost you anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. These are big ticket items, and not having an inspection, then of course you don't know whether the HVAC is in good shape. You don't know whether the roof is in good shape. So now you've bought a property where uh, not only have you paid for the property, down payment, all the other monies that you have to put down, and the mortgage that has to be paid every month, but now you're looking at maybe 30, 40, $50,000 in repairs. Um, and that's something that you would have known if you would have went on and had a home inspection. You would have had the understanding that, hey, these items are going to cost me a lot of money in the near future. So skipping the home inspection, like I said, can have serious ramifications as far as financial safety issues for your family, because one day this home may be your family home, and now if it has safety hazards, then It's not like a car where you can say, well, hey, I'm gonna go trade this car in tomorrow. It takes a little longer to get rid of a home, especially a home with safety hazards. So skipping the inspection is probably one of the worst things that you can do when you're buying a home. And no matter what anybody tells you, always have a home inspection.
Always have a home inspection. Okay. That was great there. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Wanted to ask you because technology is constantly changing how we do business and how we operate on a day-to-day basis. How has the home inspection process evolved with technology now in your business?
Well, the software has gotten better. Um, Tools that we use have gotten a whole lot better as well. I'm still sort of an old-fashioned inspector. Um, a lot of inspectors, they use up-to-date technology as far as their inspection goes. Some of them use drones. Some of them use uh, crawl space robots. Me personally, I like to still walk all the roofs that I inspect. I still go into crawl spaces. But yeah, technology has changed not only the home inspection profession, but it's changed a lot. I mean, it's even changed the home buying profession. Real estate agents use different technology as well. But even though I do have access to those technological advances, I still prefer to do my inspections old school style by getting out there, touching every component.
Mm. And to that point, you mentioned like the drones and the remote control cars and the crawl space, things like that. And yes, they are nuances that are, really nice to have, I guess, at times. But do you think there's any imperfections with it now? I mean, because it's important for you to actually be on the roof and take a look at those joists and actually be physically, in those specific areas. Do you see that there's any, I guess, flaws in some of those new technologies?
Well, with a drone, for instance, a drone is just going to give you pictures of what the roof looks like.
Right.
Um, but if I'm on top of the roof, if I'm walking the roof, then if something doesn't look right to me, I can put my hands on it and figure out what's going on with the problem. For instance, I was doing a home maybe about a year ago, and one of the plumbing stacks that come out of the roof, as soon as I stepped into that area, that plumbing stack disappeared. It went back into the attic. Now, with a drone, it would have never picked up that problem because it's not up there physically touching the roof. Whereas with me walking and stepping in that area triggered whatever issue or defect that was going on with the roof, I mean, with the plumbing stack at that time.
Mm.
So even though you do have the modern technology and you're able, and it all looks good, it all sounds good, um, actually touching, feeling, and observing is the best way to do a home inspection.
That's a great point. And especially if I'm personally buying something, I think that'll be the best route. Even though you have that, it's important to really feel it. So, for example, even in the crawl space, when you have,
Yes.
let's say, a discrepancy on how many joists need to be fixed, right? Or how much moisture buildup is actually in the crawl, different things like that. Unless you're under there and actually able to investigate, touch it, feel it, really get those facets in order, then it's kind of difficult to just base it off of a camera angle, even though
Yes,
it's
sir.
maybe newer equipment. So that's good information right there.
Yes, sir. And even though the pictures look wonderful, they look great coming from the drone. Um, you're not paying me to take beautiful pictures. You're paying me to inspect your home. So that's why I prefer putting my hands on as much as I can.
Mm, that's right. Okay, I want to get behind the walls. So this is going to be a segment, insights of what buyers should know. And I think these are some things that often can go unnoticed or even spoken about. And I want to start with the first time that a buyer actually goes look at a house, right? So what are some
Mhm.
things that buyers that you feel either goes unnoticed or something that they should look out for when they're first looking at a home before they put in an offer? Now, of course, the agent will be there on these showings, but what are some things from an inspector's point of view that they should kind of look out for and notice from that first time looking at it?
The first time when you're looking at a home, the best advice that I can give you is that if it looks wrong, it is wrong. So if you look at something that just doesn't quite look right, then of course, it's not right. Um, but you want to check around the house. You want to look around the house and sort of get a close up view of the home, and then step back and get an overall picture of the home. A lot of times, what you may miss close up, you can see once you step back a little bit. Um, I think also you have to take the personal aspect out of it as well. You may fall in, and what I mean by that is you go to a home and you fall in love with it.
The emotion of it.
So that, yeah, you're emotional about it. So, and that's quite understandable because this is about to become your home, your family home. So yeah, there's an emotional attachment, but you have to take the emotions out of it. Because even though the house may look beautiful on the outside, there could be some underlying issues on the inside. So the best thing is, like I say, take a step back, look at it from a distance, um, and and look for if it doesn't look right, then like I said, it's not right. Look for any moisture issues. Look for any obvious attempts by the seller to cover up things.
Mm.
Um, for instance, if that painting on the wall looks to be lower than what a painting should be, that could be covering up a hole. It could be covering up an issue in that area. Sellers will do things, and I'm not trying to downplay anybody or anything like that, but people will do things to hide issues. So just make sure that you step back and take a look at everything and try to take the emotion out as much as you can.
Mm. That is a great point. That's a great point. Try to take the emotion out as much as you can. Very important.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In your experience, what are some signs that a home has been improperly maintained or renovated poorly?
Um,
Now this more so I'm referring to the rehabs or even new construction in this manner.
with rehabs with rehabs, usually when I get there, I see a lot of electrical issues. Uh, may see some plumbing issues, and just the quality of the work you can tell on different rehabs. Some rehabs I do, the quality of the work is great. You can tell that hey, they got licensed contractors to come in and do the work. The ones that do not get licensed contractors, you can pick up on the issues right away. Like I said, electrical issues, um, framing issues, different things like that. There's telltale signs for good work and bad work. With new construction, and for you buyers out there, if you're buying a new construction home, you may say, well, hey, we don't need a home inspection. With new construction, I definitely recommend having a home inspection. With a new construction home, you have X amount of contractors working on each component. So sometimes they miss some things. Sometimes it's time for lunch and they're ready to go. Oh, I'll do that when I come back. And then they forget to do it when they come back. New construction homes, I don't find too many major issues as far as structural or foundation issues. It's mostly the small cosmetic type of things. Could be plumbing is one of the biggest things I find with the hot and the cold water reversed. Usually hot water is on the left side, cold water is on the right side. Sometimes they'll be switched. That doesn't sound like a big deal, but at the same time, it is a safety hazard because if you do have children and they go to turn on the cold water, then stick their hand under there and it's actually hot water, it could burn them, it could scald them. So small things like that could be a safety hazard. So even with new construction, I recommend highly that you do have a home inspection as well. But like I say, new construction, I usually don't find a lot of major issues. It's just small type of things that I find. But buying a new home, you don't want any issues, to tell you the truth, because hey, it's a brand new home. When you go to move in, you just want to move in, enjoy your family, enjoy your home. So having an inspection helps guarantee that you're able to do that.
That is great. That is wonderful. Okay. What are some of the most expensive repairs that you have seen, and how can buyers avoid falling into those pitfalls?
The most expensive repair that you're going to have on a home will be any foundational structural issues. That's the real big ticket item. That's the one that you have to decide really whether you want to proceed with the home. I mean, a structural issue could be, 50, 60, $70,000, if not more. Um, so that's the biggest issue that you will probably face with buying a home, is any structural or foundation issues. Those are your big ticket items. Now, depending on uh, your comfort with the different components, will decide whether you want to proceed with the actual purchase. Some people are fine with getting out there doing the work themselves, or they have contractors or family members that can help them with certain things. So in that instance, they may be a little bit more comfortable with buying a home that may have more issues than another home. But foundation and structural is going to be the biggest ticket items that you're going to have in a home as far as issues and defects.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. Okay. What changes do you see in the home inspection industry that will occur in the years, especially with technology playing a role? Do you see any things that you foresee to come in the future?
um I think there will be more technology to help us give better inspections, as far as the software. The software really helps us um, inform and educate the client as best as we can. So I think with technologies and software, it'll help make the home inspection process a whole lot easier.
Awesome. Okay. Now, I want to touch on weather conditions, and how that can play a role in the home inspection when you are actually conducting it, or even some of those natural things that you can't control that could impact specifically where your property is. And this could be, a flood, it can be an earthquake, things of that we obviously can't control, but can play a role in whether you're purchasing a home or even how you go about home inspection.
Well, of course, weather plays a big part in any home. Now, like you said, earthquakes and flooding is something that we can't control, but it's important to speak with probably your insurance company to see what kind of assurances that they can give you about purchasing a property in that area. Um, one of the biggest things that help, as far as the weather goes, that help me with my inspection is that I actually like to inspect homes in rain, because that's the perfect day to check for leaks.
Mhm.
Um, if it's raining, then if the roof cover is going to leak, it's going to leak that day. It's hard to tell whether a roof is leaking when it's nice and sunny for the last 3 or 4 months, but the weather plays a role in inspections as well as with other things. But like I say, the best time to inspect the home is especially when it's raining. That way we can find out how good is the roof covering, how good is the siding, how good is the landscaping? Is the landscaping um flowing away from the home so that we don't have any pooling around the foundation. So weather plays a big role in inspections, but as far as the flooding and earthquakes and natural disasters, then of course that's something that um, you have to do more research on as far as your insurance company and find out what coverages you may need for those natural disasters.
It's really good in there. All righty. So I have a few rapid fire questions just so people can kind of get to know you a little bit on a more personal level. Wanted to ask you, what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? I have a few, but anything with Denzel in it. Denzel
Okay.
Washington, Training Day, John Q, The Devil in the Blue Dress.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm a big Denzel fan.
okay, that's a good one. Wonderful actor there. Your favorite book or things that you like to read or audio? What's your favorite book?
Uh, I'm more of a uh, black exploitation book reader as far as like Donald Goins.
Mm,
Um, I read a lot of history as well. I'm a big history reader as well.
okay, that's great. Favorite food?
Favorite food? Anything barbecued. uh, Now my favorite food would probably be brisket.
Brisket. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
You make it yourself, or you a specific
Yes,
restaurant that
sir.
you go to?
No, sir. I got a custom smoker in my backyard. Get out there for about 10 to 12 hours.
There you go. Okay,
And
that's
yeah,
good. That's
I've
good.
been told I have one of the best briskets around. So
Really?
I'm gonna have to let you try it one day.
No, 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 man. Yes, most definitely. I'm gonna take you up on that for sure. Sometime during
I
this,
got you.
this summer or something, we could figure that out.
Yeah, I got you covered. Next time I throw one on, I'm gonna give you a ring.
Awesome, awesome. I'm gonna be there for sure. All right. So favorite hobby or activity you like to do when you're not working?
Right now is relaxing. I've been working so much, but I'm a little older now. You know, I was a big basketball player, but now it's just hanging out with the family. That's probably my biggest thing now.
Awesome. That's really good. And a quote that you live by, or something that kind of just gets you going, gets you motivated, and keep on moving.
Oh man, I have so many. uh, I guess one thing that I live by is that I'm trying to think of it. Do what you have to do until you can do what you want to.
Mm, I like that one. I like that
Yeah.
one. So
Do
true.
what you have to do until you can do what you want to, man. You know,
It's real. That's
that's
real
what I
right
try
there.
to live by.
Yeah, I like that one. Absolutely. All righty.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Okay. And a few more questions just in closing. And I once again appreciate you for taking some time out the day to answer these questions and share some information
No
to
worries.
consumers out here. So if someone wanted to become a home inspector, what steps should they take and what skills would you say makes them successful in the line of work?
The steps to take to become a home inspector will be first to apply to a school, get the school part of it out, then take the national exam. Then in the state of Virginia, you have to apply to DPOR to get your license. Apply to your insurance company to get insured. And then, like I said earlier, the biggest thing is going to be the 25 ride-alongs. Try to find you an inspector in your area that may be willing to help you out with the 25 ride-alongs. Keep in mind that a lot of inspectors do not want to train their competition. So that's the biggest obstacle to becoming a home inspector is just trying to find somebody to get those 25 ride-alongs with. You may have to actually join a company to get the training, the 25 ride-alongs, or like in my case, I had to work with somebody to get mine. But at the end of the day, it was well worth it. Um, Once you do become a home inspector, if that's the route you choose, then you have to be somebody that's self-motivated, especially if you want to if you want to own your own company and do things on your own. Then of course you have to be self-motivated, because you have to get out here and sort of obtain the work. It's not just going to come to you. So you do have to be self-motivated. You do have to want to be able to do things for yourself. You have to work on your customer service skills and things like that. So those are the steps to being a home inspector, and how to succeed is like you have to be a go-getter.
Absolutely. Always important to have that. Okay. How,
Yes.
how can buyers distinguish between a qualified and a non-qualified home inspector, and what kind of qualities or certifications should they look for from that home inspector?
Um, well, of course, in this day and age with the web and everything, you can always check Google to see what type of reviews an inspector has. Um, I think one of the biggest things is word of mouth as well. Talking to people, hey, have you ever worked with this home inspector? What type of home inspector is he? One of the main things that anybody can do is they can go into the Virginia DPOR site and find out about the certifications of a particular home inspection. If you're licensed and certified to do home inspections in the state of Virginia, which you have to be, then your name will be on DPOR. It'll have all your information as far as your um, qualifications, your insurance. It also tell you whether there's been any adverse action against that inspector as well. So the Virginia DPOR site is a big site to go to see if your home inspector is licensed and insured, and if he has any actions against them.
And that's also a good site for any specialty that requires a license through D4. You can always just look up whether it be their company's name or even that individual to see,
Yeah.
like you said, what kind of information pops up through D4. So that's very, very important.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I think the last question I have for you today, what's one thing that you wish every home buyer knew before purchasing a home?
Uh, Choose Beyond Bricks as their home inspector.
I like that. I like that. That's a good one.
No, I mean, just do your due diligence. Like I say, try to take the emotions out of it and look at the home. Choose you a great realtor like Mr. Blunt here. But nah, just do your due diligence and make sure that you look for anything that may be an issue, may deter you from wanting to buy that property.
That's amazing. That is great. That is
And choose us as your team.
There we go. Here we go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, sir, I appreciate your time for sharing that information. Where can people find you if they want to schedule you for home inspection or at least call you, get some more information about you?
You can reach me by phone at 757-951-5608. You can always go to my website as well, which is beyondbricksva.com. And you can email me as well at beyondbricksva@outlook.com. We do residential. What you say?
Go ahead.
Yes, we handle residential inspections. We do commercial inspections, and I'm also a 203K consultant for HUD as well.
That's awesome. And you can also find them on social as well, right? On Facebook or as well.
Yes, sir. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Beyond Bricks VA at Facebook, I think, and Beyond Bricks VA at Instagram as well.
Awesome. Well, there you go. There you have it. Once again, I want to thank you for taking the time out for sharing that information. I think this is going to be a great one, but a very important one, right? In the process and getting people into a smooth home buying process, or if it's an investment property, the same deal. So, want to thank you for your time. And yeah, you're always more than welcome to come on to the show. And you have a good one.
All right, well, I definitely appreciate you, Mr. Blount. It's always a pleasure working with you. Always a pleasure chopping it up with you as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you once again.
All right, thank you.
All alone, all I know. I be hearing it way too much, but they just throwing around the word. I G my dad 26 days later, can't tell me what I'm feeling. They don't know that side of me, they never care but what I give. I be thinking about them diamonds, but I don't need them. Can't speak my mind, I tell myself they gon' leave, don't fit on.